What if your health insurance suddenly tripled overnight? For millions of Americans entering 2026, this nightmare has become reality. Families who were already struggling to make ends meet are now facing monthly premiums that rival mortgage payments. A single parent in Ohio discovered their Blue Cross Blue Shield plan jumped from $900 to over $2,700 per month. That's an increase of nearly 200%, transforming healthcare from a necessity into an impossible luxury. These aren't isolated incidents scattered across the country. Reports are flooding social media platforms showing similar catastrophic increases nationwide. Middle-class families who played by the rules, maintained steady employment, and budgeted responsibly are suddenly discovering that financial security was merely an illusion. The foundation beneath American household economics is crumbling, and healthcare costs are leading the demolition. Understanding the crisis, the healthcare affordability crisis didn't emerge from nowhere. Federal tax subsidies that helped millions afford marketplace insurance plans are set to expire, leaving families exposed to the full brunt of premium costs. Without these subsidies acting as a financial buffer, insurance companies are revealing the true cost of coverage in America. The result is a staggering wake-up call for households across every income bracket and geographic region. Current political gridlock offers little hope for immediate relief. Recent statements from Washington indicate no willingness to compromise on extending these critical subsidies. When government shutdowns drag on for extended periods, returning to normal operations isn't as simple as flipping a switch. The bureaucratic machinery moves slowly, and families need coverage right now, not months from now when politicians finally reach an agreement. The numbers tell a story. Let's break down what this means for an average American household budget. Consider a family with an $1,800 monthly mortgage payment. Add $2,700 for health insurance. That's already $4,400 before accounting for anything else. Include $800 for car payments, which has become the national average. Add $600 for groceries, which continues climbing due to inflation and supply chain pressures. We haven't even mentioned utilities, property taxes, income taxes, vehicle insurance, or the out-of-pocket medical expenses that health insurance doesn't cover. Financial experts estimate that basic survival for an American family now requires approximately $73,000 annually. This new insurance burden adds another $20,000 to that figure. Where exactly are ordinary working families supposed to find an extra $20,000 in their annual budget? A system built on extraction, America's healthcare system operates unlike any other in the developed world. It functions as a mandatory extraction mechanism where citizens must participate or risk financial annihilation. Miss a premium payment and lose coverage, then face a medical emergency and watch decades of savings evaporate overnight. Families with children face additional pressure, as lacking insurance can trigger investigations from Child Protective Services. The message is clear: participate in this system regardless of cost, or face consequences. This isn't capitalism in the traditional sense. True market competition would drive prices down as companies compete for customers. Instead, we see consolidation, coordination, and captive consumers who cannot opt out. Insurance companies do need to offer competitive pricing when customers literally cannot afford to go without coverage. It resembles extortion more than free market economics, with American families caught in the middle. The wealth divide grows. Recent polling reveals that 82% of Americans now express serious concern about their financial future. This represents a dramatic shift in national sentiment and economic confidence. But who comprises the remaining 18% reporting optimism? The answer likely lies in wealth distribution statistics that paint a sobering picture of modern America. The wealthiest 5% of the population controls 90% of consumer spending power. Their experience of the economy bears no resemblance to reality for everyone else. This divergence has been characterized as a K-shaped recovery since the pandemic. One line shoots upward, representing explosive wealth accumulation at the top. The other line plunges downward, representing deteriorating conditions for the vast majority. $9 trillion in wealth concentrated among roughly 100 families. Meanwhile, 350 million Americans compete for the remaining resources. This isn't an economy designed to lift all boats. It's a system engineered to transfer wealth upward while those at the bottom drown. Beyond healthcare, a cascade of crises. Healthcare costs don't exist in isolation from other economic pressures crushing American households. Housing costs have skyrocketed, with rental increases of 50% becoming common in major metropolitan areas. The median price for a new vehicle has reached $50,000. Used cars average $35,000 in a nation where public transportation remains inadequate, and car ownership is practically mandatory for employment. Utility bills jump by hundreds of dollars seemingly overnight. Property taxes climb relentlessly. Grocery bills surge by hundreds monthly. Every essential expense category is moving in the same direction, up, not incremental increases of 1 or 2% that might be absorbed through modest wage growth. We're seeing double-digit and triple-digit percentage increases across the board. Americans are working multiple jobs, sacrificing sleep, health, and family time just to maintain their previous standard of living. Yet no amount of individual hustle can overcome systematic economic extraction on this scale. The treadmill keeps accelerating while workers exhaust themselves just to stay in place. The medication question. Here's an uncomfortable observation worth examining closely. America ranks among the most medicated populations on Earth. Antidepressants, anxiety medications, mood stabilizers, and beta blockers help millions of citizens cope with crushing stress and economic anxiety. Perhaps this widespread medication serves a purpose beyond individual treatment. Maybe it functions as social control, keeping the population docile enough to absorb these conditions without mass unrest. When people joke about needing medication to avoid bell tower scenarios, they're acknowledging a grim reality about social pressure and breaking points. What happens if economic conditions deteriorate to the point where people can no longer afford their psychiatric medications? What occurs when the chemical buffer keeping widespread desperation manageable gets removed? These aren't rhetorical questions. They represent genuine concerns about social stability when populations face impossible choices between medication, food, housing, and healthcare. A society can only push its citizens so far before something fundamental breaks. A call to awareness. We've explored how an American family can work full-time, budget carefully, make responsible choices, and still find themselves drowning financially. This isn't about individual failures or poor planning. The system itself has become predatory and extractive. Healthcare, housing, transportation, and basic necessities shouldn't consume 100% of household income. Yet that's exactly where millions of families find themselves as we enter 2026. Something has to change because the current trajectory is unsustainable and morally indefensible. The question isn't whether you're experiencing these pressures. The question is what we collectively choose to do about them. Do we accept this as the new normal? Do we retreat into isolation and paranoia? Or do we demand fundamental restructuring of systems that clearly aren't working for the vast majority? These conversations matter. Your experience matters. Your voice matters in demanding better from institutions and leaders who seem content watching ordinary people suffer. Thank you for watching the World Documentaries. If this analysis resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explorations of the issues shaping our world. We're building a community of informed citizens who refuse to accept manufactured narratives without critical examination. Share your own experiences with healthcare costs, economic pressure, and financial stress in the comments below. How are these changes affecting your family and community? What solutions do you see? Your insights help create a more complete picture of what's really happening across America. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming documentaries on related topics. Together, we can shine light on uncomfortable truths and demand accountability from systems that should serve people, not just profit. See you in the next documentary.